Most loan officers get like 1 or 2 level questions deep and they don't go deeper in the relationship with the client. And what it'll do for them, then I'm able to pull them. And once I've asked those piercing questions, then that turns around and makes my success untouchable. Because a client will only use the loan officer that they feel listened to the most, that feels that they understand them the most. Because in the emotional relationship and the bond together is massive. Hey guys, Wally Elibiary. All right, so what is 24/7 mindset? Most times when you hear 24/7, you're thinking what? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just grinding, hustling. You know, I learned over time a 24-year career in mortgage and multiple other businesses that I own is, unfortunately, you'll get burnt out. I became an absent father, I became an absent husband, and I became a poor business leader because I was trying to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to build a business, maintain a business. When I learned how to work smarter, not just harder, by doing things the best way it could be done, instead of just simply doing my best, I learned how to work only 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, while I got paid from the business residually 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do the same. Welcome to the show. All right, 24/7 Mindset community. Super excited about today. We've gone global. Now there's loan officers in Canada using 24/7 Mindset. How freaking awesome is that? All right, so we got Justin Chausse. Love that, by the way.
Got it.
And Adam's a little bit easier. Adam Walker.
Simple.
Easy. All right. So first, Adam, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, mortgage agent here in Ontario, Canada. I've been in this business been in the mortgage world for a long time, about 17 years, originating on my own for just over 2 years now. I was so we have major banks here. I was an area manager with the bank for a long time and decided to start on my own. A little over 2 years ago, and teamed up. Justin used to we worked together back in our old bank days. So teamed up with Justin. We decided that let's work together on everything that we do. So we've partnered, separate businesses, but we partner on a lot of things, a lot of brainstorming, everything we do together. Came across 24/7 Mindset when you did an interview with Scott Peckford, who is runs the brokerage that we're with, and kind of been working towards it ever since.
That's awesome. All right, you, Justin, your turn.
Yeah. So Justin Chausse, same as Adam. I'm in Southern Ontario in Canada as well. Been in the mortgage business for 12 years now. 6 of those years were at the bank. Adam's very humble. Adam was actually my boss when I was there. I had just kind of left before, not because of Adam. I was sad to leave, but I had left the bank and joined the broker space. So been in the broker space now for 6 years. And yeah, just been plugging away. I've had a lot of success, and we're super excited about your program that we've been implementing for the last 12 months. So
is that kind of the transition in y'all's industry where someone comes in working for a bank, gets their feet wet, learns the business, and then transitions to become their own broker? Or what's kind of like the norm like?
Yeah, I think I think you either start broker. I think you start broker and you continue down that path, or you start at the bank. And eventually, the bank can only offer one product. And it's got to fit within their box. So over time, I'm just speaking of my experience, as my business and all of that continued to grow, the options that I had to be able to offer clients and service to referral sources, right? They care about approvals is really what they care about. So I was just limited with what I was able to offer, and just kind of explore different options to kind of take my business to the next level. And the broker space allowed me to do that.
Well, good. You feel the same way, Em?
Yeah, my goal really, when I decided I was going to leave the management world, the management job changed a lot through COVID. It was a lot of business development. It became a lot of auditing, really. It wasn't a lot of fun anymore. So it was more paperwork. I decided I was going to become a mortgage agent. I actually started selling back with the bank. I've been here for 15 years. I had a pension. I had everything there. I'm going to do this back with the bank. And for my declines that we couldn't do, I'll just send those names over to Justin and get him to help. And I think it was about 2 or 3 months in, Justin said, Adam, like, I love working with you, but you're my number one referral source. Just get your license and get going, right? So, got my license. The way we went, and kind of the rest is history since then. So, glad I made the move, and it's been a lot of fun. So,
I mean, just like you ruined the great thing. He was like your cash cow. You should have kept it going.
I know. My honesty kills me a lot of the time. So
that's funny. That's good. I'm glad you guys have a great chemistry back and forth. Yeah, I mean, here in the States, I'm in Dallas, Texas. Here in the States, you have like most people start off at a bank. It's usually like big box banks, like the Bank of Americas or Wells Fargo's or things of that nature, and then they end up going like independent mortgage company, like a cross country or a Fairway or big companies like that, or Prime Lending, and then like the entrepreneurial ones are really the brokers. It's interesting. I don't know how's Canada market like, but in the broker space in the States, like 95% of brokers are like one man or one woman bands. They're just one person shop. They process the loan up front. They originate the loan. They put the file in closing. They draw their own docs. It's just a one person band. And then they lose scalability. When I built Aspire Mortgage Advisors, I was in the retail space and I working for a mortgage company for 24 years of my first 26-year career. And the first 24 years, a big attraction in retail is that you make you've got so much support. You've got an abundance of support, but then your pricing is really bad and your commissions are really small. So I don't know how that compares.
Very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah. And you get in the broker space and your commissions are really high, but your support's really low. Yes. But what's cool so when I launched Aspire Mortgage Advisors, my mortgage company here in Dallas, and we're now in 7 different states, I focused on, I want to be different. Call me the middle child or the black sheep of the family or what, but I've always wanted to be different. And can I combine the best of both worlds? Can I combine the support from retail and then also combine the great pricing and the abundance of income from the brokerage space? So what's super cool about that is we've been very successful at that here locally in the States with Aspire. We've got some of the best pricing in town and then all the abundance of programs. But then what also on top of that, all the support with the client concierge team, the marketing team, all that for all the loan officers. But what's super cool about you guys, and the reason why I'm leading into this is Scott Peckford with Bricks is the equivalent of like me in Canada. And the amount of support I've been coaching Scott now for, I want to say it's been like 6 to 8 months or so. And actually we got a coaching call next Monday afternoon. And a lot of things I've been focusing on is like, Scott, you got to build a niche. And it's super cool to see him bring that niche to life with the client concierge team with Bricks that he's building with his son for you guys. And then now he's got the international partnership with y'all, the Bricks, and then also Aspire Mortgage Advisors, where we can do loans in all 50 states and y'all can still get paid commissions on those deals. It's got to be pretty rewarding knowing that you're a broker in Canada and you've got all the support and then also you got some great pricing.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very unique. I mean, to sit with Scott, it's inspiring to kind of watch him go. I always say, wind him up and watch him go, give him an idea. And if it works, he's going to implement it. He'll even tell you it's one of his strengths is his ADHD, right? Because he just gets something in his head and can go multiple different directions with it. So
we literally were on a coaching call and I started cold plunging like twice a day, 48 degrees for 5 minutes each time. And I was telling him about it, and literally the next day he bought a cold plunge. And I'm just like,
I believe it. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, tell me a little bit about. All right, that you learned about 24/7 mindset on one of Scott's webinars. I'm assuming we've read the book or not yet.
Yeah. Read the book, awesome. Program, everything. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. So, talking about courses that you've taken. So have you taken the client concierge course or the 6-lane highway course or both?
Both.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are awesome. Okay, great. So tell us about some wins then I want you to tell me about some challenges. I want to give you some solutions to your challenges. So let's start with what are some wins that you had from what you've been able to implement?
So I'll say one of the big wins, like right off the top, when I hear this system, I want to take it back to the bank. When I was with the bank, I had an area, a regional manager, a regional vice president that came to me and said, you know, Adam, if at our big bank, if our mortgage people could work with our credit people, could work with our investment people and our insurance people, if we could all work together, we would make our shareholders a lot more money, which is true. And it shows the bank mentality. The bank is all about shareholders and profit for shareholders. So, well, you know, you've got it wrong. Like, we can also make our clients a lot of money. We can do a lot of things that's right for our clients. And just by setting clients up, and, you know, that when we close a deal, as soon as we start a new application, we send them a thank you card for thank you for choosing us to do the mortgage. And in that, it's, you know, we're here to grow and protect your wealth. It's not we're not calling them to say, hey, we're here to close your mortgage. We're going to grow and protect your wealth. So being able to have all of these other partners that we can refer to, now we're getting referrals back just from the clients. They're so thrilled that we're here not just to help them with their mortgage, but we're here to help them through the entire transaction and get and build that whole system out for them.
Yeah, it's super duper rewarding, and I know you guys are kind of in the early stages of this. And I hope this never happens to you, but unfortunately, it's going to happen at one point. And that I can count on 4 different occasions that I've done mortgages for a family and they did not have life insurance. And those 4 different occasions, I end up connecting them with a financial advisor, or they end up getting life insurance. And either the mom passed away or the father passed away. And then if I did not refer them to a financial advisor, that financial advisor helped them to get life insurance, that family would have been in ruins. And it's really a rewarding feeling. Not only are we helping the borrowers make more money, right? Like you said a second ago, but we're also helping protect their families when something goes wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, Wally, it was you that said it to me. I think it was a couple months ago. We were both there and listened to you stand on stage and speak to us. And it was something that resonated with me, is when you said, you know, you can do the best job you possibly can on their mortgage application. But I might be speaking kind of out of context here, but the gist was, you know, you could do the best job with their mortgage, but not the best job for them by making sure they're protected and have the other partners in place. And that always resonated. I think you worded it a little bit differently, but when you had said that, I was like, there's that's it, right? We all strive to do very good in our job and as a mortgage professional. But we need to be different and take it a step further to kind of stand out from the crowd. And I believe, you know, in thinking that way and adopting that mentality, it's allowing our clients to be properly protected and stay loyal to us and know we have their best interest in doing the right things for them.
Yeah. I mean, we're in an industry of hunters, and you realize that everybody's hunting for the next deal, trying to get the next deal. But if you can learn to be a farmer in this industry, I mean, business is absolutely bananas, because, you know, farmers had the patience of planting the crops and then reaping the rewards once everything kind of matures, right? Where a hunter is going to put so much effort to go out there and find the next meal and find the next meal and find the next meal. I look at that you know, most loan officers, like we talked about before, get one referral from a realtor. Then they go hunting, then they go back and hunt for another one, versus if you can turn that one deal into be a multiplier loan officer, refer it out 4 different ways, you're easily going to make 2 referrals back that are going to turn into commissions. And that's where farmer loan officers are more multiplier loan officers than addition loan officers are more like hunter loan officers. There's very little patience.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah. So, all right, tell me any other success stories you want to share, or do you want to jump to some challenges so you walk away with some value?
I'm happy to share. I'll share a success story in some of the stuff. I mean, I think which will lead into a challenge there, Wally, for you as well. So I think in a lot of the things, you know, that Adam and I do I would love for people to see how we're behind the scenes a lot of the times, and how we're constantly thinking of how to add value to our partners and generate more business for them and different referrals. And since we've gone out and we've started speaking about, you know, the 6-lane highway and the different stuff that we're able to do, connecting everybody in the real estate ecosystem and how it works, there hasn't been a single person we've sat to that hasn't been excited about what we have, right? So that's been extremely positive. For me personally, I've always struggled to kind of connect the financial planner, right? So when we started this, I was very hesitant, and I was like, I don't know if they're gonna buy in, if they're gonna see it, if they're gonna understand how it all works. And that was the one for me where, shockingly for me, they were all like, I totally get it. We're all in.
Yeah. We're
all in. We get it. Now with that comes the challenges of getting, they say they're all in, but we've kind of determined that the most successful people that are going to be part of the program are going to be the ones that upload the database to the system that allow them to kind of take advantage. So we've had a little reluctancy in that, getting people to kind of hand over a database. They kind of hold it close, their cards close to their heart, and are struggling to kind of, they say they're all in, but struggling to kind of go all in to reap the benefits.
Okay. So let's role play one. So let's just say I'm your realtor. How do you frame it, and kind of run through that with me?
Yeah. So for me, I kind of, to be honest, I open up the report. This is how I do it. We're using OwnWell, which I believe is a little bit different than what you're using in the US, which is HomeBot and Mortgage Coach, I think it is in the US.
Yep.
So we're using OwnWell, where it's all in one. And I walk through an example and I say to them, listen, like, I sent out this blindly to my database, and I had a client that reached out, and that client was a lawyer whose husband was also a real estate agent, and said, hey, I think the value of my house is off. I bought for $1.05 million. I think it's worth 1.4. So this was all via text. And I'm explaining this to my realtor partner. And I say, so in that same conversation, I said, yep, no problem. We'll go for lunch next week. I'll explain it to you further. And then she's clicking through and goes, wait, says I can save $17,000 on my mortgage, $17,000 over the course of my term. And then I got into it and I said, okay, I'm going to show you how this works. One, value of your house is off. We need to refer you to an agent to come out and give you the proper value so you know what your house is worth. Two, you say your house has gone up in value by $350,000. Are you properly insured on that property? If something were to go wrong, I need to refer you to an insurance agent. There's $17,000 of savings. We need to maximize that. We can refer you to a financial planner. We're going to redo your mortgage. Do you know a good lawyer? in this example, she was a lawyer, right? So, in that one report, we've created 4 referrals. And then I explained that was only on one of her properties, right? And then as we continue to get through it, there was, we were able to identify 4, there was 4 other properties that all fit in the exact same boat. So I present that to other partners. And that's what's that's how I'm presenting it as we sit right now, which is getting people excited. They're seeing it. They're understanding it.
Simple question. Who's the hero in that story?
Who's the hero in that story? I think I know the answer, which is probably I'm making it about the report or about me, not about the other people.
So there's a great book by Donald Miller called Building a Story Brand. Building a Story Brand. When I read this book, it totally changed my whole world. So it talks about there's a hero and there's a guide in every story. Every story. And it talks about you want to be the guide and you want to make them the hero. When you're describing that success story, it was an absolutely phenomenal success story. And kudos to you. I mean, that's like a huge win. But it was about what you were able to do for them. If you could reframe that and make them the hero, what they were able to do for themselves because they took your advice, what they were able to save because they took your advice, what they were able to grow their family's wealth or get more insurance or get more protection or get more value because of you guiding them through the process, it stops being about you and it's more about them, which makes it more attractive to most people's eyes. Did I explain that okay?
Absolutely.
So, and I think there's 2 levels of sales that I think most people really, really underestimate. One is FOMO. Two is take them to pain, push them to pain, pull them with pleasure. Push them to pain, pull them with pleasure. So what I mean by that is that when I talk to them about, I just say, hey, tell me about a little bit about your database. They say, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. So how often do you, to the realtor, how often do you stay in relationship with your clients? Oh, I do a pie. I take them a pie every Thanksgiving. Okay, great. So was that once a year you talk to them? Yeah, if it's a newer client, I'll reach out to them when the tax bill comes out. Okay, so maybe once a year, 1.5 times a year, it sounds like. She was, yeah, that's about right. Okay. Do you want to reach out more and you're struggling understanding how more value you can add to them? Or do you not want to reach out more and you don't see value in reaching out more to them? 10 out of 10 times, it's, yes, I want to reach out more, but I don't know what else to say, so I don't reach out.
Right.
Call reluctance comes from lack of call confidence. Lack of call confidence comes from not understanding what to do, when to do, how to do it. So they do nothing. Most salespeople just do nothing. So when I'm having conversation with a realtor around this, I show them my home bot, you show them your own well. And I sit down and I say, okay, instead of me verbally telling you how I add value to my database, what's your address? And then I put that address in there and I create them a digest in HomeBot. You do the same thing in OnWell. And I say, okay, so when I get on the phone with the client, here's what I'm going through. I'm helping them dispute their tax value. I'm helping them shop around their home insurance. I'm helping them remove their monthly mortgage insurance. I'm helping make sure that they have, they've got a financial advisor, they've got life insurance, the tax strategist instead of a CPA. And I'm going through all this and I'm explaining to them, this is the value that I bring on this call. You do understand you can do the same thing with your clients, but we call that annual real estate review. But two things happen. I'm guessing you don't have, do you think you've got 3, 4, 5 extra hours in your week to call your past clients to schedule appointments for yourself? 10 out of 10 times the answer is no. So we've taken it on ourselves to have our client concierge team call the realtor's database and schedule appointments on the real estate agent's calendar for the real estate agent to do annual real estate reviews. While at the same time, they need something to be able to have a discussion about. We put their database in HomeBot, and now it's joint marketing with their database in HomeBot. So they give us their database to be able to call and schedule appointments on their calendar. They also give us their database to be able to send out their HomeBot digest, which in your case is your OnWell. Then the third thing that we put their database in is our sales boomerang or monitor base, which it identifies 4 triggers. If they ever list their house, if they ever get their credit pulled by a mortgage lender, if there's a death in the family or someone gets divorced or someone gets married. And then lastly, the fourth one is if they take on more than $20,000 in credit card debt, revolving debt over the last 12 months. Because a realtor would want to know all those things. A realtor would want to know when John Smith that they helped 3-4 years ago now listed their house with a different agent and didn't use them. They want to know these things. So these are all tools and technologies that we have that the realtor doesn't have access to, but I'm framing in a way as I'm building a partnership with them, but I'm taking them first to the pain, and I spend like 2-3 minutes in the whole pain category of you're struggling staying in relationship with your past clients. The result of that is you're losing residual income from your business because they're going elsewhere. You're losing relationships because they're going elsewhere. You don't know what to call them and share with them. They're going elsewhere. So if you're not making those outbound calls because you don't have the time and you don't know what to say, why don't we do a training around what to say? We will schedule appointments on your calendars from your past clients. For us to do that, I need access to your database. I explained that well?
Brilliant.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So number one, take them to pain, push them to pain, pull them with pleasure. And the FOMO aspect of that, I schedule to where, hey, we only take 4 new real estate teams every quarter. Right now, there's a waiting list, but if this is something you're serious about doing, I can move you up on the waiting list, but I need to know by next Thursday. If not, the next quarter in Q2 will be the earliest that opens back up. So you're setting like a time frame around that they don't want to miss out on that opportunity.
I think that's big.
I like it.
I like that a lot.
Okay, cool. Well, you'll have this recording and then feel free to listen to it again. And if you have questions, email me or call me. What's another challenge you guys are facing? Give me one more.
Yeah, let's talk clients. That I guess, the clients that when you're talking to the clients, that it's not just about rate. It's not just about what the best product is or what the best rate is, about how our system can not only just do that, but it can help you grow and protect your wealth. And asking the right questions, I guess, making sure that we're asking the right questions so they see the importance of what we're showing them, what we're giving them, and that we're here to help you grow and protect your wealth.
Yeah, as opposed to losing a file to 10 basis points, I think is what you're referring to.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Adam?
Yes, that's where.
Yeah. So how are you framing that now in the buyer's mind?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of questions that we kind of asked through there. When we talk, about your down payment, for example, did you save your down payment? How was that saved? Who helped you save this down payment? And then having that question, is that a financial planner? Was it saved with the bank? Having those conversations, who helped you? Do you have an accountant? Going through those questions right away. When we're doing we're using both incomes to help you qualify. Do you have a plan in place in the end to make sure that if one of these incomes goes away, that you're protected? What we do different is these things. This is what we're doing, and we're presenting our options that we do of what we do differently, rather than just going out and finding the best rate on the street.
Yeah. So when you do a pre-approval for a client before they find a home, do you request documents like paycheck stubs, W-2s, bank statements, things of that nature?
Yeah.
Okay. Add to your list tax CPA strategy for 2025. And also cash value or life insurance policy declaration page. So I asked for both those items. 7 out of 10 times, clients come back and say, I don't have a tax strategist. I just send my CPA my taxes and they do them. And I'm like, well, I'm confused here. Now we've got a house. Now we've got interest debt. Now we got deductions. Now we got depreciation. So you don't have a tax strategist that meets with you once a quarter and walks you through where to improve where, so you pay much less in taxes every year? Boom. I got a referral directly out to a CPA tax strategist. Same question if they say, well, hey, here's my paychecks, W-2s, so on and so on, but I don't have I don't have life insurance. I don't have the whole life insurance or term life insurance. Okay, well, I'm really struggling here because I'm about to put you $500,000 in mortgage debt and you have no protection. So if something happens to you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and you still have this mortgage out there, and if there's no insurance that protects you and something happens to you, your family's going to have to sell their house. So have you talked to a professional financial advisor of how to protect the mortgage through life insurance? No, I haven't. Boom. I got a referral to a financial advisor. Notice I'm doing that before I even pre-approve them, before they even go under contract. So on the other side of the coin is when I refer them out to a financial advisor, I get them, or a CPA, I get them to have a conversation with them early in the process. So in that case, I'm going deeper with that borrower and I'm helping them protect their wealth and also helping them on the tax strategy side of it. 1/8 of a point rate doesn't matter. Number one.
Yeah.
Right. So I've really changed the trajectory of their family's life. Number one. Number two, I've collected all the documents. I've done all this legwork up front, where most loan officers are super lazy and they just pull a credit report, get an application completed, and they guesstimate if the loan can get approved or not, and they write a pre-approval letter, and there's no stickiness with the borrower. So when you collect the documents, and from there, I'm looking at it, I'm either referring out to a financial advisor or CPA, or I'm asking them, hey, I looked at your financial statement. You're with Merrill Lynch. You've got $500,000 in there, $5 million in there, whatever the case is. And talk to me a little bit about your financial advisor. What do you rate them 1 to 10? And if they say 7 or higher, I'm like, hold on. I close hundreds of families a year. I need a great financial advisor to refer my clients to. Can you do me a favor, put together an email, introduce me to your financial advisor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the financial advisor, show him the same options that I showed you for your mortgage options, and ask your financial advisor what's the best term that they want to go off. Boom, I got an intro to a financial advisor right off the bat, completely different. Conversations are completely different. Do the same thing with a family will attorney, same thing with an insurance agent, same thing with a CPA, tax strategist.
I love it.
I like it.
Cool. All right, I'm going to give you all the closing thoughts. Biggest takeaway of the day, and what do you want to say to inspire the loan officers of the next generation?
Oh, sorry, that was a question. Closing thought of the day is for me, one is get better at asking questions, and some of those other questions around the partners earlier on in the process.
Yeah, I would say for me, the biggest thing, take action quickly. They say, you anytime you talk successes, you have success in asking the right questions and knowing presenting instead of just showing up and throwing up and giving options. Ask the right questions that are going to lead to the right answers.
I've got 3 morning affirmations that I've said to myself since 2011. One of them is exactly what you just said, and I really struggled of speaking too much when I was trying to pitch to a realtor, a bar, or whatever. And I changed my lenses of how I look at things, and it became, Wally, your questions are piercing, your answers are motivating, your presence is commanding, which makes your success untouchable. So first of all, for my questions to be piercing, I've got to be a great listener. I've got to listen to the emotions behind the words that they're saying and really understand what's going to be able to pull them. And once I understand and I figure out what their motivation is or what their why is of buying a house, getting a financial advisor, whatever the case is, and what it will do for them. Most loan officers get 1 or 2 level questions deep and they don't go deeper in the relationship with the client. And what it'll do for them, then I'm able to pull them with it. And once I've asked those piercing questions, then that turns around and makes my success untouchable. Because a client will only use the loan officer that they feel listened to the most, that feels that they understand them the most, because in the emotional relationship and the bond together is massive. Cool.
Makes a lot of sense.
All right, gentlemen. Well,
Thank you.
Let me know if you guys need anything else. Keep me in the loop, and congratulations on your success.
Yeah.
Thanks
for
Wally.
everything, Wally. Really appreciate it.
See you guys. Bye.
So thank you so much for listening today. It means a lot you took time out of your day. I don't take that lightly. Understand very clearly that you're very busy. With that being said, if you want to continue your journey and learn more about 24/7 Mindset, if you're on Facebook, which I'm going to guess you are, then go to 24/7 Mindset on Facebook and join the private community. I do coaching tips on there on a daily basis. So from scripts on there to systems on there, models, and the ability to be able to grow and scale a business while you have a quality of life. Hope to see you there.